Metal Jesus, and I'm back again to talk about some of my favorite compilation or anthology discs. Now, I've already done one of these videos, and you can click right here to go view part 1. So many great games in there, but I've got even more to talk about. As a matter of fact, there are literally hundreds of these made over the years. So in order to kind of whittle this down, I'm not including compilations that only have a few games on them. As a matter of fact, my rule is it has to have at least 5 in order to be included. So that's just a way of just kind of keeping this video, a decent length. But enough babbling, let's take a look. We're going to start off with a great compilation by Sega called Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection for the PlayStation 3. Packed onto this disc are 40 games, including some of the best that ever came out on the Genesis. Some of the titles are Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3, Sonic 3D Blast, Sonic and Knuckles. Oh man, there's so many great ones here. Shining Force, Vector Man, Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, Golden Axe, Phantasy Star. Man, it just keeps going and going and going. In addition to the games, there are unlockable videos, there are histories, original artwork, and a lot more. And then, as if that wasn't enough, there are unlockable Master System games too. You can unlock Golden Axe Warrior, the original Phantasy Star, Altered Beast, Congo Bongo, Fantasy Zone, and just a ton more. This is easily one of the best compilation discs to come out in the last couple years and is highly recommended for any Sega Genesis fan. Oh man, I love me some old school Atari, so of course I had to put the Atari Anthology on this list. This anthology is a great value because they actually pack 85 games onto this disc. However, what makes this really unique is that it's a mix of arcade and 2600 games. There are 18 classic arcade games included in here and 67 Atari 2600 games. As you can see here, included with the game are the original scan manuals, as well as sometimes you can see the side art if it was an arcade machine, and also a brief history. But probably my favorite feature is comparing the original arcade version of a game to the 2600 version. Here you can see the original arcade version of Asteroids, always a classic. And then let's swing over and look at the Atari 2600 version. Same thing goes for the original arcade version of Missile Command. And now the classic 2600 version. Overall, this is a nice collection of Atari games. Now, there's some clunkers in here that don't quite hold up to the test of time. But with 85 games included, you're bound to find a bunch you can still enjoy. The Midway Arcade Treasures collection has over 48 games if you get all 3 volumes, and is a relatively good value. The first volume focuses on some really old school arcade games, including Spy Hunter, Defender, Gauntlet, Joust, Paperboy, Rampage, Smash TV, Robotron. There's just a bunch of them on this disc. The second volume includes another 20 games and focuses on slightly newer games like Mortal Kombat, Narc, and APB. But there are some classics on here as well, including Wizards of War and Hard Drivin'. And then the third volume focuses entirely on racing games, and there's some great ones here, including San Francisco Rush, Hydro Thunder, Super Off-Road, and Stun Runner. However, it should be noted that these are not the arcade versions. These are actually the home console conversions that were made for like the Dreamcast. Overall, these are pretty good compilation discs, although sometimes the emulation of the original arcade game is not that great. For instance, the sound will be off, or sometimes the controls are not quite right. Activision made some of my favorite 2600 games, and this anthology has 45 rad games packed on it. We're talking about games like Pitfall 1 and 2, Enduro, River Raid, Barnstorming, Frostbite, and my personal all-time favorite Atari 2600 game is Hero, and it's included on this list. In addition to a great list of games, Activision went all out and made a really cool main menu interface. This emulates like an old school game room in the 80s. It's so cool. There's a little rack that you spin around to choose your games. There's an old school television. Plus you have the history of the games, box art, interviews, old commercials that you can unlock. But my favorite feature is the ability to unlock patches. See, when these games first came out, Activision in a lot of these games had a challenge in the back of the manual. If you got a high enough score and took a photo of your television and sent it to Activision, they would send you a physical patch that you could sew on your clothes. This is almost a precursor to achievements, and they're very collectible even today. Getting a stand-up Neo Geo arcade cab can be kind of pricey for a lot of people. Thankfully, there is an Arcade Classics Volume 1 released for the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation Portable, and the Wii. On this disc, SNK has packed on 16 games, including Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury, Magician Lord, Neo Turf Masters, Shock Troopers, King of Fighters 94, and a bunch more. I really like the variety on this disc. I mean, you have fighting games, sports games, shooters, platformers, and they all look great in that amazing Neo Geo style. However, unfortunately, the PlayStation 2 version is not the one to get. The emulation's a little bit off on some of these. Sometimes there's slowdown for no reason whatsoever, or the audio is off just a little bit. So if you have a Wii, I've heard that that version is much better. All right, there you go. Here are some game compilations that I think are worth owning. And at the end here, what I'm gonna do is show you all of them that I've put into these videos up to this point, plus some honorable mentions. But the thing I love most is the fact that you guys post in the comments below telling me what I need to add to my collection. Some stuff I had never even heard of was posted in the last one, so I really appreciate that. As always, I want to thank you for watching my channel, and thanks for subscribing. Take care.